Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rise or Die podcast. This is yours truly, Stephen M. Lowisz, for episode 103, Be Authentic, Flaws and All. I was scrolling through Instagram for a few minutes this morning as well as yesterday, and it really hit me how much the platform lacks authenticity. Now, I love Instagram from a marketer's perspective because it's pure gold. But from just being a 22-year-old guy's perspective, I think it's like the stupidest platform in the world because there's no authenticity. No one is actually showing who they really are, what they're all about, and so forth. They're showing pictures with cool quotes. They're showing pictures where, their biceps look huge. It's basically flaunting who you want to be as opposed to who you are. Every single person that you see on social media, the news, it doesn't really matter. They're all going through shit just like you. And unfortunately, no one wants to actually talk about it. So then we get this idea in our head of, well, what one day I'll make it and I'll be there. Well, we've talked previously that there's no such thing as, quote unquote, making it. It's a never ending game of expansion. And we feel as though their life must be perfect. Well, it's not. But you never would know because they don't share it. And people want to talk about authenticity like it's a really nice buzzword that a lot of people use these days, but it doesn't really have much meaning anymore. Like if it took you 5 pictures to pick the right one, like you had to take a picture 5 different times, and you have, makeup on or different filters and whatnot, like I get it, they look kind of cool, but how authentic is that? Well, it's just fucking not. Like, the end. What very few people do, and this is the whole point of the podcast, but what very few people do is document. Now, under companies and for my clients, I create content. I'm very good at it. But for example, this Rise or Die podcast, it's all about documenting, not just creating content. If I wanted to create content, I would tell you guys that I'm a billionaire, I'm killing it, try to get you to believe a whole bunch of nice stuff, and then sell you on a course. That's really the point of content. That's not the point, but that's how people use content, is what I'm trying to say. Now, documenting is saying, hey guys, you may hate me, you may love me, I don't really care. I think there's enough people that can relate to what I'm going through, so I'm going to share. I'm going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. Frankly, I don't like how I deliver my own podcast. Now I'm going to be vulnerable and, authentic here. I don't think I'm a good communicator over audio. I think I'm a very good communicator when I'm on the phone sealing deals because I have a track record to prove it. I don't actually like my own delivery. I'm very critical of myself. You may love it, you may hate it. I'm kind of iffy with my own fucking podcast, which is the sad part. Not because I don't think I'm able to relate, but because I'm just not the best communicator. Here's the deal. Between episode 1 and now episode 103, I've gotten a whole lot fucking better. Every day I get better and better and better. This podcast is for me just as much as it is for you. There's a lot of people that can relate to being $100,000 in debt, trying to avoid bankruptcy while starting 2 businesses, while also being married. The only thing I don't have going against me is I don't have kids yet. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I think people need to know that they're not alone. And guess what? You are not alone. You're not alone in your struggles or challenges just because you go on social media and you see all this inauthenticity. I think that's a word. You're surrounded by a bunch of superficial people trying to display something they're not. Well, guys, this is Stephen Lowisz. This is who I am. I'm going to document because in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, I want people to see, well, shit, they actually start from nothing. It's a lot of work. His quality sucked on episode 1, and by episode 1,000, it's the #1 rated podcast. I want to show the journey. Why is this relatable to you, though? Well, one, I want you to know why I'm doing this podcast. You're taking the time to listen to me, so the very least that I can do is be authentic and be real with you. Here's the other piece. People want to get to know the real you. People want to get to know the real you. Really think about that. We are very different people in each network that we have. We have a network at church, at work, normal friend group. We're very different people. We hide pieces, we show pieces. It just depends on who we're around in the context and so forth. Why not just be you? I used to hide a lot of my intensity, or at least I tried. I would try to hide my intensity from those around me because I was always told that it was really bad. Like, I'm talking from my wife, from my family. I always thought it was really bad, so I would just try to stuff it down. Then once I finally gave myself permission to be me, flaws and all, everything started to change. Not only was I happier, people actually were able to relate to me. They were able to actually appreciate who Steven was, not the subdued version that I thought they wanted me to be. It changed absolutely everything. People want to know you. Why am I putting myself out there on this podcast? Because I want to show that flaws can be capitalized on. I want to show that you're not alone. I want to show that, guess what? People do go through some shit on their way to success. Whatever that means. Success is constant expansion. That's all the definition of success means. But everyone wants to show the results, not the hard work going into it. But the same goes for you. You may not like who you are today, but show people the journey of who you're becoming. Be you. Be authentic, flaws and all. Where across body, being, balance, and business are you trying to hide? Are you trying to hide the extra 20 pounds on your stomach? I used to do the same thing. Are you trying to hide the fact that you're 100K in debt? Guys, I'm 100K in debt. What's anyone going to do about it? I'm on my way out, but I've got about 100K in debt. Are you trying to hide your lack of a relationship with God, but you're going to church and putting on a pretty face? Why don't you just tell everyone what's going on? Why don't you share your struggles? One of the best sayings I've ever learned is pain shared is pain divided. You don't have to go through shit on your own. And that's what I realized. People don't want a perfect you. They want the real you. So where across body, being, balance, and business are you hiding? That's it for episode 103, Be Authentic, Flaws and All. Hey guys, do me a favor. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I would certainly appreciate a review on iTunes or Google Play or what have you. Certainly would appreciate that. You can subscribe to some of our exclusive content at riseordiepodcast.com. Send me any feedback or questions at steven@invictus.co. And lastly, share this podcast with someone that you want more for out of their life. Someone that needs a little kick in the ass every day, just like you get from me. I'll talk to you tomorrow for episode 104.